We started the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Doolittle from Calvary Community Church was going to do the invocation, and he called. There was some issue going on with the church, so he had to cancel for it. So you're all right. Like I said. Tell me you want to lead us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First off, I'd just like to see, we're really glad to see Calvin back this meeting. He's been off, he had some surgery, and doing a lot better, so really glad to see him. Yeah, could the clerk do the roll call, please?
Gutierrez?
Here.
There?
Here.
Wilson?
Here.
Secord is absent. Townsend?
Here.
Williams?
Here.
Carpenter here.
Thank you. Next, we have the adoption of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the adoption of the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Anyone have any questions at all? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Next, you have approval of the minutes of the August 6, 2019 regular meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the August 6, 2019 regular meeting as presented. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the August 6, 2019 regular meeting. Everyone had a chance to review them. Anyone with any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Next we have, under special orders, Ordinance 1902, rezoning parcels. This would be considered the second reading. Maybe you read the ordinance, please.
At a special meeting of the Planning Commission held on Thursday, June 27, 2019, a recommendation for approval was made for rezoning request RZ 19-02 for parcel 0911525-1002-33 and 0911525-1002-001, both located on Junction Road. Hal and Kim Winiger, the applicants and owners, requested a rezone of the property from RA Residential Agricultural to C2 Community Center District. The property originally was owned by the Cornerstone Church. Upon purchase, a parcel split application was filed to create a parcel in which the Family Life Center would sit alone. Due to the zoning ordinance regulations, an accessory structure is not allowed to be on a piece of property without a primary dwelling. The split application was approved with the condition that either 1,000 square feet minimum square footage requirement of the zoning ordinance of the building was made into a living space or a home built on the property, or to have the property rezoned to fit the future land use of the master plan. Initially, the Winigers showed interest in transforming a portion of the building into living space, but decided to request a rezone of the property to comply with the condition of the split application. The rezoning of the property to commercial zone will allow a number of different uses that can occupy the building, as opposed to the very limited amount of uses that are allowed in the RA residential agricultural district. Want to read the planning commission too?
Sure.
Motion by Moore, supported by DeSander, to approve the rezoning request RZ 190202 for Junction Road parcels 0911525 1002 003 and 0911525 1002 001 as presented. There was a roll call taken, and there was 6 yes and 3 absent.
Okay, thank you. We'll be voting on that under unfinished business. Next, we have ordinance 1903, Consumers Energy Contract.
I'll make a motion that we conduct the first reading of the Consumers Energy Ordinance 1902 and set the second reading for October 1st, 2019 with possible adoption.
Support.
I do want to read that whole thing.
Consumers Energy Company Gas and Electric Franchise Ordinance. Consumers Energy needs an updated franchise ordinance which would grant Consumers Energy Company its successor and assigns the right or authority to lay, maintain, and commercially operate gas lines and facilities included but not limited to mains, pipes, services, and valves, and to construct, maintain, and commercial use electric lines and related facilities included but not limited to towers, masts, poles, cross arms, guys, wires, and transformers on, under, along, and across public places, including but not limited to highways, streets, alleys, bridges, and waterways, and to conduct a local gas and or electric business in the Charter Township of Bridgeport, Saginaw County, Michigan, for a period of 30 years. Our current Consumers Energy franchise for the township is expiring, and the township needs to renew the franchise for another 30 years. At this time, the board needs to introduce the ordinance and send us to set our second reading for October 1st, 2019, with possible adoption at that time.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call, please?
Wilson?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Secor's absent. Thayer?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
And Townsend?
Yes. Okay, next we've got IFP application for Sweeney Metalworking Parcel, 4450 Marlea Drive. If you have somebody make a motion.
I move to review the IFT application from Sweeney Metalworking for parcel 09-11-5-17-1012-000 at 4450 Marlea and set a public hearing for October 1st, 2019. Second.
Motion been made, supported. Anyone have any questions? All those, could we have a roll call, please?
Williams?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Secor is absent. Carpenter, yes. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes. Thank you. Next, we have public comment. Anyone would like to make public comment? Come forward now, please.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Earlene Lucas. I live on Toth Road in Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, have a concern, and I did speak with Rose about it. When we had the storms that came through Bridgeport back in July, there were a lot of limbs and branches down all over the place. I understand the process that homeowners have to call to schedule branch and limb pickup. And they get on a schedule and the limbs are picked up. I understand that this service is paid for by contract and that there isn't someone who can just go around and inspect areas to see if there's a lot of debris or branches still down. I understand all of that. However, there are so many areas in Bridgeport where there are limbs and branches down. In some cases, the homes are vacant, so there's no one who's going to call. In one case on West Bridge, they were almost like sections of trunks of a tree that were completely blocking that road. I talked with the residents there. They called the fire department and police. They came out and took chainsaws and cut up those big limbs, but they're still deposited along the side of the road. It's about 50 feet or more, maybe 60, of limbs and brush piled up 4 to 5 feet high. The land, according to the lady that stopped when she saw me standing there taking pictures and wondered what I was doing, I explained. She said that land is owned by a land bank. She didn't tell me the name of it. They have called 3 times to no effect. I also just kind of drove around. There's a house located at 2040 Kansas. It's an empty house. There is a whole limb, like a portion of a trunk of a tree, not totally separated from the tree, and is laying down across the driveway. Children live in that neighborhood. I mean, a tree where you can climb up the tree like a game plane or something, that's an accident waiting to happen. The same thing exists at 3430 Southfield. Same situation. You got partial limbs hanging out of a tree, big limbs. If they fell on a child, they would kill the child or an adult. In addition to that, it's an empty house. So I'm coming before just to ask for consideration. I know budgets are tight, I know things are difficult, but it just seems to me when you have an emergency, like you have all the limb and storm damage that we have, there should be emergency funds set aside where someone from the townships, I don't know if it would be Public Works, who it would drive around those 36 miles of roadway and see where do we have problems and go ahead and arrange a contract to pick it up. Doesn't happen that often. Like I said, I appreciate the limitations of budget. It's just something I think should be considered. The other thing, I had 2 neighbors that called after that storm, and they were told that there were too many people on the list. And they were told they would be put over and it would be picked up the next week. That did not happen. One of them, I mentioned to the lady, I said, I think you need to call again. So she did. So it was 3 weeks of their brush piles, limbs laying on the lawn. Another gentleman, he's an elderly gentleman. He must be in his approaching 90. He has a lawn guy. I pulled over and said to the lawn guy, you know, he's got a call for that limb. And he said, well, he did. And they told him they would pick it up the next week. No one's been back. It's still laying there. I know that you send out an annual notice once a year with the refuge and recycling. It has on there that you have to call for limbs. We have a lot of rental properties in Bridgeport. If people moved in after January, they would never see that notice. So my other suggestion is that consideration be given to whenever you send out a mass notice to the community about something that's going on, include a reminder about limbs and branches in that notice. Same thing on your computer alerts, like a road's going to be closed. Just a reminder, if you have lamp, it's your responsibility to call. Just my suggestions. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
I have pictures of these sites if somebody wants to look at them.
Now, as you were talking, Ron Wheatley was writing down some addresses, I believe, and he will direct whomever to take a look at those.
Thank you.
And at the time of the storm, I believe, I may be wrong, Ruth Ann, you might help me out. I believe we had like 80-some people requesting brush pickup.
We did, and we added another pickup also for the for the storm.
Yeah, apparently some people got missed along the way, which happens occasionally, but,
It's all about presentation too. A lot of them were just thrown out to the road, and there's just some requirements. You can't just throw it out to the road. You have to have all the butt ends out. So in some, because there was so much, they only spent 10 minutes at a site that they had to be on that list multiple times.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, that's why I think there should be an emergency fund to go ahead and clean up the area. I don't know if that's possible, it's just something that I think makes sense to me. I look at these other communities, my sister lives in outside of DC. They don't have to call when there's been a storm. People after storms, they're dealing with flooding, power outages, the roof and house damage. There should be some consideration, in my opinion. It's just good sense and good public service, as far as I'm concerned, for situations that are unique like that. And for the other times, sometimes people just don't know. We have neighbors move in new, they put out a brush pile, they don't know. We give them a copy of the refuge schedule, highlight, this is what you have to do. And most of the time, people will call. I think 80% or more people want to do the right thing. They just don't know what needs to be done. And if you're sending reminders out when you're doing other things, that could help solve some of that.
So just when they come in to put water in their name, we do give them a packet, and that's included in that packet. So anybody new to Bridgeport would get that information in the packet.
Is it not true that if it's a home that's being rented, the homeowner has to keep the water bill in their name?
No, that's not true.
Oh, I know it is for the city of Savage.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah, but, okay, so, but I just think more reminders, people have busy lives, they have lots of stuff happening. If you see a problem, it makes the area look terrible to have all this brush and limbs laying down all over the place. And I'm genuinely concerned about those two trees, because I saw kids playing in the neighborhood. And I'd hate to think a child died because we did not want to be responsible government officials.
right, and if you see those type situations in the future, excuse me, if you see those situations in the future, like limbs that are dangerous or something like that, just get the township a call and we'll try and find somebody.
Yeah, like I said, I don't live in those
address it.
neighborhoods, I just went around. I'm with Studer Heights Neighborhood Watch, we try to make sure the neighborhood is safe. And Jamie Settler and Officer Rob Miller and Littrell, they know me, because I call. But I can't look at all over. I was just concerned.
No, I
about this
understand that, ma'am, but when you see something, tell somebody. Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to make public comment? I know there's one.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, I'm Jean Schlickbeer. I'm from Frankenmuth, but I worship here in Bridgeport at St. Matthew's Lutheran on King and Portsmouth, and I've got a sign. Augie gave me this idea. He was upset because he didn't get a goodie bag from our race. And on September 22nd, we are having our Taking Steps Against Hunger race that's been in the plans for the last 7-8 months. And Augie wanted to know why he didn't get a goodie bag, and I told him it was because he didn't participate in the race. And I wanted to make sure he had no excuses this time. I'm coming to remind him it's 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks away, and you get a nice tote bag. And I'm just going to give everybody a sample of what's in the tote bag with a little reminder on it that says this is when the race is, and Augie has no excuse this time. In addition, if you can't make it on the 22nd, Augie said he couldn't make it before he even knew the date. There's no excuse, because this year we have something different. We have a virtual race. So you can sign up for the race online, and it's all the information where you sign up is on the little card here. You can sign up for the race, and I don't know if I have enough for everybody here, but I'll leave them on the table if you're interested, along with the card. You can sign up to participate virtually. So you can walk 4 miles or 6 miles or run it on any day that you want. All that you have to do is register for the race. And not only will you won't get the goodie bag, obviously, but you will get a t-shirt that has a logo. And everybody, this year we've done something different. We have a beautiful medal that every participant in the race, whether you run it on the 22nd or you do it on your own, and it doesn't have to be running, you can walk, for those of you who want to walk. Everyone will get one of these and a t-shirt. And we have some wonderful business sponsors this year. Following the race, we have a raffle. It's free. We draw out names for prizes. The Loons have given us passes. Saginaw Spirit, Michigan Sugar. Everybody will get a free bag of sugar. We just have lots and lots of prizes from the business community, which has been very generous to us this year. So I just wanted to follow up so that LD has no excuses this year. Speaking about the medical, hope that you'll all come and join us that day. You should be seeing some of these signs around your area, and if you live on Main Highway and you would like a sign, let Jennifer know, because she's going to have the phone number on her sign. So this one's for you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
She said she would put that up. So thank you. Registration starts at 2, the race is at 3, and we have lots and lots of fun the day of the event. So it's a time race as well. So for those of you who are professional runners, you can get your time on it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jean. Everybody got a candy bar needs to thank me for whining to Jean.
I will leave the rest on the table, but please do ask.
Bye.
Thank you, Augie.
You're welcome. Where was I? Anyone else like to make public comment? I was wondering you were going to get up there.
Well, I said Jean she could go ahead of me, but now she's a hard act to follow. Anyway,
You're not gonna
I'm
embarrass
Cheryl
me,
Hansel.
right?
I'm your county commissioner. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not going to try and embarrass me too, are you?
Not at all. I wanted to welcome Kelvin back. Thank you very much for being here tonight. We got lots going on in the county, and you've had a lot here at this podium tonight, so I'm going to touch on a few spots. We have worked all summer on our budget. We will be passing our budget on September 17th. It's a $43 million budget, and we were about $1 million short this year. And we decided to take it out of reserves because the cuts that the controller gave us were way too deep, and we were eliminating too many jobs, and none of us really wanted to support it. And the way I can support that, though, is we put $3 million into our reserves last year. So that's why I thought it was crucial that we save all the people in the prosecutor's office, and that we continue to fund mental health and some of the other cuts that he proposed to us. And we actually voted them all down last week. So our budget is balanced, and it will be passed on September 17th. And you will not be missing any services here in Saginaw County, and we're not eliminating any jobs. I think that's huge. We had a very interesting meeting at 3:30 this afternoon. As you probably know, next year is election year. I can't believe we're already talking about next year, but we started the dialogue today. We're going to have 3 elections next year. On March 10th, we're going to have our presidential primary. We'll have our regular primary in August, and we'll have our general election in November. We had MSU Extension approach us today about putting a millage on in the March election, and that passed our committee. It just has to pass our full board. This would be a new millage. MSU Extension, and we have cut them in the past. We didn't cut them this year, but we normally give them about $150,000, and they've been having trouble running their programs. Number one program they run is 4-H, and they're going to ask for a very small millage to keep funding their projects. Also tomorrow at our committee meeting, Parks and Recreation is coming to us to ask us to renew their county park millage. And also the Dow Event Center is coming to us tomorrow to ask us for a renewal and an increase on their millage. And those 3 are asking us to be on the ballot on March 10th. So it's going to be quite a year next year. We were all at a conference last week, and we actually had our new Secretary of State address us about some of the new things that have happened in the election law, and it was her prediction that 70% or 75% of the people will be voting from home next year because of the new change in law that you don't have to have a reason to ask for an absentee ballot. So it's going to make for a very interesting election, I think. And did you have any problems here in Bridgeport with people signing up and applying or to vote on the same day on your last election?
We didn't have election here.
Oh, you didn't have an August election?
We haven't had one yet, so yeah.
Okay, well, some of my other precincts, and they had absolutely no problems at all, where people will come in because you don't have to register to vote anymore. You can vote and register on the same day, and it really worked out very well throughout the county, so I'm hoping that it's going to be good for you too here in March.
Yep.
Also, building, lots of building going on in our county. As you know, the jail is going up. It looks great. The outside facade is now done. The cells are in, but we're still 5 weeks behind. We just had a meeting with the sheriff today, and it's because of the lack of skilled trade here in Saginaw County. And it's a sad thing. We were supposed to open it in January. Now it looks like it's going to be the first week of March. Right now we're doing blocks, and masons are just very hard to find. I can't imagine when we get into the electrical part and all that, what that's going to be, but it's a serious issue here in Saginaw County. We have had to go outside the county to get workers, and we still can't, so it's a serious issue. Animal shelter, we really kind of put that on hold a little bit because we can't possibly have two big projects going at the same time because we can't get the workers for the jail. We had 3 sites that we were looking at, and 2 people backed out and said we don't want to sell our property anymore. So now we've had to go back to the drawing board about that, and I'm really not upset about that because we're not going to start until next spring anyway, and we want to put the animal shelter in the best place for the residents of Saginaw County. So we looked at a place in Saginaw City, and we looked at some out in Township, and we're still looking. That's all I really want to say. We had a very interesting group of doctors come and address us today. You're going to hear a lot about this in the news. They have formed a corporation, and it's called MIFSM. It's called Michigan International Forensics and Science Medicine. And they petitioned us. They're going to put up a 3-story building on Johnson Street, which is where the old unemployment office is going to be. They're going to take that down. They're going to put a $3 or $7 million building there, and they have formed this corporation, and they're going to do all forensics and pathological medicine there. They're going to teach it. They're going to contract with all, like 16 counties in this area, and it's going to be quite the operation. And it's going to take some of the weight off of us, because right now we put $500,000 into our medical examiner's office. Like if you need a death certificate, you go to our health department to do that. They're going to do all that for us. So this just came before us this afternoon. I had no idea that, who this group was, but it's going to be very, very interesting. It was so refreshing to have somebody come and not say, well, we need you to help build us this, we need you to help build us that. Because I asked the question, who's funding this? They said, oh, we're funding it all. So they're going to put at least 50 people to work there right now. It could be up to 100 employees at this business. So it's going to be very interesting. They're going to be a teaching facility. They're going to do toxicology. And it's going to be really a bright thing for Saginaw. So I know I talked way too much, but there's a lot of things going on, and I just wanted to bring you up to speed. If you have any questions, I'll be around for your entire meeting. And I enjoyed coming down Dixie Highway. I've been avoiding that area. I came from the courthouse. I came right here, and I thought, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. It's wonderful. I think it's great. So I look forward to the next phase. Then I can go all the way home on Dixie. Thank you.
Thank you. We do appreciate you coming to listen and what's going on too, Cheryl. Anyone else that'd like to make public comment? One more time. Hearing none, public comment is now closed. Next, under unfinished business, Ordinance 1902.
I move to approve ordinance 1902 parcels 9-11-5-25-1002-003 and 9-11-5-25-1001-1, changing the zoning from an RA residential to a C2 community center district.
Second.
Motion been made and supported to approve ordinance 1902, rezoning parcels. I won't read those parcels again. Do we have a roll call, please?
Thayer,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Carpenter, yes. Secor is absent. Williams,
Yes.
Townsend,
Yes. Thank you. Next on the new business, we have accounts payable.
we didn't do new business.
Are you ready for accounts payable?
There's no new business.
Yeah, but you didn't call.
New business, we don't have it.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I think we got accounts payable.
I'd like to make a motion to approve checks 65420 through 65534 in the amount of $590,000, $545.97 as presented.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve check 65420 through 65534, $590,545.97. That amount is not a lot, much larger than it normally is. The reason is that is some of the projects, the wastewater had going on. And that goes through, it doesn't come out of the general fund, it comes out of the enterprise fund, so. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, now we've got, police department report. Dave, do you have anything? Maybe
Yep.
the microphone over there, please.
That might be loud enough anyways, but, short report, Officer Garrett Breckrens is wrapping up the final week of the 16-week field training program. He's been doing a really good job. We look forward to him being on his own. So this is the last week of training. He'll be flying solo next week. We're still taking applications for our last remaining open police officer position. I had a good conversation with Mike Goodall today. He's the director at Delta College Academy. They've got a new academy starting up, and I'll be going there in the next week or two and meeting with some of the candidates they have right there, and hopefully we can get a good one lined up if nobody else comes up out of the woodwork in the meantime. School's back in session, so I just want to remind everybody, watch out for the school buses. Make sure that you stop when they're stopped. Watch out for the kids. They're going to be running all over the place, so just be careful when you're out there. And then as far as our stats are out on our Facebook page, and they're also out there on Constant Contact. So you can sign up for Constant Contact, follow us on Facebook. You'll be able to see what we're doing week in and week out. That's all I have.
Thank you. And the fire department.
Good evening. Just want to bring up a couple of things' attention. As of this hour, our personnel have responded to 870 calls for service this year, 114 last month alone. And to consider that number is 40 higher than this time last year, which was our record year to date. So we were ahead of our record pace we set just last year. And for September, we're already up to 14 calls, so do the math in 3 days, not even quite 2 days. And we have a possible storm coming, so last big storm gave us 22 calls. Our current roster sits at 17 personnel, primarily on-call people. 3 of them are new cadets, brought on a few months ago. We're waiting to their chance to go to the academy, which usually starts in December. And we are actually going to add to that number this Thursday with 2 more.
Great.
So eventually we'll have 5 personnel to send to the academy in December. Keep our fingers crossed. One important thing I do want to bring to everybody's attention is that this Friday evening in Frankenmuth is their annual Auto Fest. And if you're familiar, the Friday night event is a big block party which they shut down the city for pretty much 4 o'clock until 10, where there's no traffic let through, and they bring in antique cars and live music and food, and upwards of 100,000 plus people attend that time frame. And up to this year, Frankenmuth has handled it with their volunteer firefighters, their reserve police force, and an ambulance. And they really started to think hard about that and said, you know, if something really, truly unfortunate happens, we're woefully unprepared. So they reached out to their neighbors, us included, and said, would you please provide us help and resources and personnel to adequately, or better adequately, man this event for that number of people, in which we went to several planning meetings. I talked over with manager-elect, and we came to an agreement that we will be providing help. So you will see Bridgeport fire personnel at this event with a couple pieces of equipment to provide medical services, to provide coverage to Frankenmuth if they have a fire of their own or car accidents in which they're tapped to be able to tend to themselves, at least not without delay. We will be doing this without any hindrance to our own coverage. We have set it up so we have people staying by here. Our neighbors are willing to help us out if we do get, in fact, some major calls in that time frame. So it's kind of been an overlapping assistance to help. And it's one event out of the year that's this extreme, I guess, I'll have a better word. This is a test year. And we're just kind of looking at it as mutual aid, so to speak, because Frankenmuth has already come to our aid 5 times for structure fires this year alone. And that's in years not even over. And this averages out 7 to 10 times that they do this every year. We'll be lucky if we reciprocate 1 time, just by the fact that they run about 100 calls in a year's time versus our 1,000 or 1,200. So the stats are lopsided in ours, and this is one way we figured that will give them a little bit of reciprocation. So just wanted to let people know why you might see Bridgeport fire apparatus and Bridgeport personnel at the Auto Fest this Friday night. That's all.
Thank you. Rose has been on vacation, but Tracy Bennett, her administrative assistant, has some things to say. I believe Rose left her a note or 2.
She actually sent me this today, so she's kind of working on vacation. Welcome back, Calvin.
Thank you.
She wanted me to let you know about the Saginaw County Drain Office has been petitioned for a meeting here on September 5th. It's at 6 o'clock. This Thursday, September 5th, the Saginaw County Drain Office will hold a Board of Determination meeting here at our office for the petition they received for the Sanderson Drain. The board will determine the necessity of the proposed project. The scope of the project or cost is not determined at this time. The meeting will begin at 6 o'clock. And the Historical Society is having their 50-year celebration on September 14th, and the public, 14th and 15th, the public is invited to attend. And update on the Governmental Center. We've met with State Representative Vanessa Guerra to inquire on funding availability from the state level, and we're moving forward with our Governmental Center. We have a meeting set next month with Senator Ken Horn, and we've also requested a meeting with United States Senator Debbie Stabenow, and we have since been informed that there is no funding available from the federal level. And we continue to work with our architect. And the Saginaw County Road Commission is working on plans to update the emergency signal in front of our fire station. They are also working on plans to install a pedestrian crosswalk at Southfield and Williamson. It will be push button activated with the signal having a countdown for the pedestrians crossing. And Saginaw County Road Commission is placing a 2 mil road millage on the ballot in 2020. Found that out as well. And the Dixie Highway project, phase 1 is done, and phase 2 is in the works. 3 culverts will need to be replaced along the relocation of water lines, and we continue to meet for discussions as we go forward with this project. And the Southfield Pump Station, that project is coming along nicely, and they are looking to have start up by the end of the month, if not sooner. That's enough.
Okay, thank you. Next we have board comments. Calvin?
Let me begin by saying that I missed about 3 meetings, primarily due to the cervical surgery on my neck, from C4 down to T1 on the vertebrae. It's been a long journey. I've had rehab at Health Source. I've also had a setback that I had to go back to St. Mary for an opening that did not close completely. So I had to go back for another operation, as well as for the plastic surgeon and the surgeon closed that particular area. I'm also in what you call spinal rehab right now. It probably is going to be maybe probably about 14 more weeks before that. I've been blessed and certainly been thankful for all of the cards, the phone calls, and everything that everybody has shown me during this recovery period. I want to thank Tracy, understanding, brought me this lovely joy here with Ken here. Certainly appreciate that, and I'm certainly going to enjoy that. So thank you once again, and I'm probably going to be attending the meetings from now on as my health improves. Thank you very much.
Just a little aside from what Kelvin said, I mentioned to him that didn't know if he was diabetic or not, and if he was, his wife would probably eat candy bars, and weren't already, he's going to eat them. Jennifer?
Just welcome back to Calvin. It was really good to see you back today. I think that was pretty quick considering. Other than that, no comments.
Thank you. Heather?
Welcome back, Calvin. You were missed, definitely.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks to the police and fire, and I totally get the thinking of thing. We've had some pretty big events, and we've been mutual aid here, so I get it, and I think they'll appreciate the help. And thank you to Cheryl, and it was Arlene and Jean for public comment when you guys came. That's all I got.
Daryl?
Calvin, welcome back.
Thank you.
Chiefs, thanks for you for the report. Assistant manager, thanks for the report.
Lee?
Yeah, welcome back again, Calvin. And I thank you for the reports. I told him today that you only have 3 minutes for his report, instead of maybe 30 seconds. And thank you, Tracy, for reading Rose's report. So.
I think Rose kind of condensed that for Tracy. Okay. Yeah, and I'd like to thank Cheryl too. She does come to our, she promised me when she became our county commissioner that she would come periodically to board meetings. And she's done that. And any time that we've contacted her about something, she's been right there trying to help us out. Rose had contacted her regarding our situation just for some advice, and she met with Rose and I. We really appreciate that. She gave us some really good ideas for that kind of thing, so we really appreciate her and the job she does. She told me she was retiring here a while back from her business and stuff, and everything that woman has going constantly, I don't think I'd want to try and keep up with her, but hopefully she enjoys enjoying her retirement. With that, motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and supported to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.